Alrighty, another live stream of silliness and stuff like that. So it's already September 1st. It's less than 24 hours away from Labor Day 2024. Yes, Labor Day is already here. And for most of the kiddies, it's your final hours, because most of you guys will be starting school Wednesday or Thursday, so you only got a few hours left of freedom before you have to go back to your educational grind. So with that, of course, the title of the stream is a mixed bag, so we got a bunch of stuff we're going to go over. And of course, the first thing is I had a video of I think I had a video of showing this thing off, and I don't have a battery for it and stuff like that, but I do have an upcoming video of ripping this thing apart, and that's going to be coming up in a couple of weeks or something like that. So of course I was on the Olympia Info Globe buying spree and stuff like that, and at the time of trying to acquire this thing, there was none to be had and stuff like that. And of course, when you're on the hunt for something, you're checking out Etsy, and you're checking out eBay, and you're seeing if anybody's going to list this thing and stuff like that. So once the first one come up, I picked it up, and it was at a pretty good price. Of course, now you look on eBay, and there's a bunch of them, and yeah, they're like $100 or something like that, and stuff like that. So I got one for a decent price, and of course, when I got this thing, it never had a battery in the handset, so I really didn't do much with it other than just power up the base and stuff like that. So eventually, I want to get it set up and put it somewhere in here, so I don't have to get up and walk out of the room. Of course, this channel is not going to be the phone channel where you got to pick up every single phone and have 4 or 5 of them in a room. Because once upon a time, your household phone, you only had one phone in the house. And if you had an upstairs, you had one downstairs, you had one upstairs. Now with modern technology, there's people that's got to have 3 or 4 phones in a room. So stuff like that, but that's not going to happen here. So whatever room that I'm most in, so it's going to be this one, and of course there's one out for the main house and stuff like that. So of course I think I showed this off and stuff like that, and of course showing off the wall wart and showing off the face plates and the cord and stuff like that. So this is all original Olympia cords and stuff like this, so everything is tagged and labeled with flag labels and stuff like that, which is cool. I got that capability now of flagging everything. So the biggest thing is this is not really this is not a speakerphone, so it's your regular to your ear and stuff like that. So this one had different face plates you could pop off, where you could have a black one, you could have the one that come with it, and then I think there's a lighter gray one here floating around in here somewhere. So here's the base plate. And of course, I showed this one is this little globe is a lot smaller than the bigger versions and stuff like that. So it did come with a manual. I think this one did have the receipt in it, which was pretty much unreadable. So stuff like that. So it came with different face plates. So whatever your decor was, whether you wanted the silver one, whether you wanted the carbon one or the faceplate and stuff like that. So of course the owner's manual of how to set it, and here is the receipt, which I don't think I could read at the time, so a lot of it is faded out. So this was bought in 9/1 of 2005. Unfortunately, I cannot read the print of how much it was when it was new, so that's kind of crappy. Unless I can see it from the back. Nah, you really can't see it from the back either. Might be able to pick it up under the microscope and stuff like that if the lighting was right. Yep, can't read the writing. So I don't know how much it was when it was new back in 2005. So whatever the tax was 8%. And it was paid by check. So this came, so it was bought in Texas. It was actually bought from Radio Shack. So Radio Shack in Sherman, Texas. And then there is another address on here from this guy who bought it. Probably from a second-hand store, I would imagine, from Missouri. So it was bought in Missouri. So it originated in Texas. So maybe the guy went down to Texas from Missouri to buy this thing. Maybe he was traveling. Who really knows the story of this thing? So maybe someday when I got the microscope out, I might be able to read the how much it was, but probably not. So, but we're gonna get this this fired up here and get it working. So I did order a battery for it, so it wasn't a huge. It was only a couple of bucks to buy these nickel metal hydride batteries to get this thing. So we'll go over to the desktop, and there it is. So you know, over on your Amazon sites. So $5.99 for this little battery, and of course, there's pretty much only one place that makes and sells these little things, unless you decide to, if you got the connector, you can actually make your own battery pack for this thing. So Castar is really the only manufacturer that's making these batteries for these little phones, and of course I ordered it from Amazon, but it did come from Castar, so you can save yourself trouble if you really want to, and just go to castar.com and pick up the battery, and there's the part number for it. So BE 3850s, you know, 3872s, blah blah blah, OLs. So this one is the one for the Olympia Info Globe, the OL 3020. So there's a whole bunch of different batteries in there and stuff like that. So of course one battery will fit many models to get it going again. So who knows how long this has been sitting around doing nothing. So we will see if it works, because I never seen if it did work, because I didn't have a battery for it. But I do know that the globe works, so that's good. And it was one of them in the future videos. One of them, it's going to be a tear down and see what's inside it, and to see if there was any chance you could make a regular info globe work on it and stuff like that. And we'll save that for when that video is posted. So of course there is one individual where I did message him and give him the news on it and stuff like that. So a little micro battery, that's for sure. It's a tiny little thing. So I don't think it's 90. No. Is it AAA size? Yeah. Actually, no, it's a little bit smaller than AAA size. So you'd have to get them Quad A and make your own little battery pack. So let's put this little battery pack in and connect the rest of the bits to this thing. So it's got all the criteria, serial numbers, and stuff like that. So let's plug it in. And it's on. So the phone still does work. So that's good. Now it's just a matter of closing it up and getting the wire to sit nice in there. There. So let's see. Of course, it'll set the time when somebody calls it. I'll probably call it and then give my block so you don't see my number. So ironically, it still has numbers in here from the last time it was used. New call 21. So it's wanting me to set the time. So we'll get the base plate all connected up here. So let's see, what's this size say? Line in and then 2 wall. So we're going to hook our 2 wall to our current info globe here, so we can get a landline connected to it temporarily. So we got that hooked up. And let's see, on the back here, we can put this in. So that's connected, and our finely mangled wires here. Probably one of them deals where it says, well, I had enough of this thing, probably the battery died, and it says it's an old phone and time to retire it. So, of course, this guy has a little bit heftier wall wart compared to the info globes. So the regular info globes use a 300 milliamp wall wart. This one has a 500 milliamp wall wart to keep them running, because it has to charge a battery. And we got power here, so the info globe will fire up in a minute once it figures out what it wants to do. There he comes. So I have no idea how many hours is on this sucker. We'll see if it charges. Contacts might be a little boogered. So that's good. Can we page it? Let's see if there's a dial tone. Maybe it don't work. I don't hear a dial tone. Interesting. Wonder where the... Maybe that jack don't work. Let's try connecting it direct to something. Let's see, where is the hub? Probably somewhere where I can't find it. Oh, there it is. Huh. That's interesting. I have no idea. Maybe that's why it went up on eBay. Maybe it doesn't work. Let's see here. Do setup. Battery pack, blah, blah, blah. I wonder what that means. Yeah, there's something else because the in use doesn't even light up. So there's probably something wrong with this thing. Maybe it needs to be set up first before it even works. I don't know. Very interesting. Initial setup. Anytime the phone is powered up, set language will appear in the thing. Press star. See, set language. Up and down. Okay. English. French, Spanish, English. Press mem. Area code. Bring it on. Date and time. So it is 8:03. Not that it would matter. So that didn't change anything. That didn't change nothing, so that's probably why maybe this one was put up for sale. It's probably a dud. So there's no dial tone to it. Maybe the cord is bad. Yeah, because it is nothing. Okay, so that's that. Anything else? Keyboard. After Paddock installed and the headset and base page. Setting new security code. So we gotta power it up with the base in it. What's the little flashing light mean? So something's up. Probably when I took it apart. Oh yeah, there is. One of the little pins is not in the right spot. When I took this apart, I didn't put it back together right. Okay. So let's take the base off. That's all I should be able to do to get this back running again, is to reset that. Okay, so let's see, where's the base plate? There it is. Yep. Okay. That should be an easy enough fix. So let's see. We got to take this circuit board off. and reset them little pins. Let's see if that changes anything. So we'll get these screws out of the way. They belong to the base plate. Get out of there. Okay, that pops off. So all we need to do is get to this area right here. Yep, there's the pogo pin. Of course, I didn't mess with this thing, so I wonder why. That's probably, maybe that was the original fault. So let's see, how to get that back in there. That could be interesting. So I didn't see this when I took this apart, but maybe this was the original. Why this guy got rid of this thing is because this little pogo pin spring setup got dislodged. Because you can't take this contacts out because their plastic is melted around them. So I got to get the spring underneath this plate. Wow. For something this small, it's pretty tough to get that back in there. I figured it would just slide right in there. Of course, the biggest problem is I'm at an angle here and I can't move this. Can't really move it a lot. Maybe I can give it a little bit of relief. Get in there, you little bugger. Of course, the other thing is the spring is not all the way in, all the way. I wonder if I can take that out. Nope, the contact is bigger than the spring. So we'll have to fold that other side over. That'll help. Because I don't want to put too much spring on tension on these little posts because it'll snap right off. I gotta get that little bugger back in there. There we go. Now we gotta push the bracket back down, and this might work now. So there. That might work. So let's see, that was that side. Yeah. Didn't intend for this to be a repair. A couple of antennas in here. Put that back down. Put the screws back in. So that was probably the original fault of this. Something happened to that little pogo pin. And it quit working. So that hopefully will fix that. Put the base back on. Screw it back in. I got the wires hanging out. Brilliant. Okay, I'll plug the power back in. So we got our little pogo pins back together. Okay, that did something different. We got a charge light now. So hopefully... Oh, we got a dial tone. So that little pogo pin was all that was holding this up. So that's cool. We fixed it. An unintentional fix that I was not even aware of. So that was more than likely the cause of why this went up on eBay. Because that little pogo pin did not somehow got pushed all the way in. So that's cool. So now let's call the weather service. So like I said, this is not a speakerphone, so it but it does work, so that's cool. Awesome. I got to figure out how do you access the caller ID from the handset? Make a call, terminate, short paging. Does the page work? Yep. So the page works. That's awesome. And new calls. Okay. So at least it works now. So now it's a working unit. So that's awesome. Probably one of them deals where the guy smacked it on the handset. Probably from getting a phone call that he didn't want. So now we'll see if it works. So it does work. Of course, I'll hide the caller ID. Yeah, it does show my number, so that's cool. Now I'll see if it hits the time. That should set the time on it. Yep. So it set the time. So that's awesome. So that works. I'm happy with that. So that's a good thing that we had a working unintentional repair of the Olympia Info Plus telephone. Of course, like I said, this is not a speakerphone, so you couldn't hear other than what I put next to the earpiece. So that is awesome, and it's automatically set the time. So for now, I'll have to find a home for this in here somewhere. So we will move on. We will move on and go over some other things here for now. So, being that it's Labor Day, it was, we're just talking about, for myself, it's just a couple of weeks prior to putting up, it's almost time to put up Christmas lights and stuff like that. So it's going to be just a matter of time before I think you can see it right there. Yeah, right up there is the laboratory Christmas tree. So that'll be coming down in just a few weeks. But it's time to start talking about what I'm going to do for the outside stuff. So I seen these on Amazon a couple last year, and of course at the time that I discovered them, they were already sold out. and couldn't get them anymore. So we'll go over to the jungle site here, and we got the these guys here. So large snowflake ornaments, 12-inch glitter plastic. So these are the glitter snowflakes for your holiday decor. And I got the 36 pack, and you got all different kinds of colors. So whatever you want to choose and the amount you want and stuff like that. So that's what I got for the outside tree, and I got a bunch of them. So there's plenty to go around, and they're actually quite nice. I do like them. I'm hoping that the commercial balls come in stock. So these are the snowflakes. These are the little fishing line that you would normally tie these things to, but we're not going to use that because these are going outside. So they're going to be out in the weather, out in the wind, and stuff like that. So it comes in 5 different shapes. So, and of course, it's got a mounting hole right here. So that's your to mount them, and then they just hang up and look pretty. And of course, they do have glitter, so you're going to have glitter all over the place in places that you don't expect to find glitter. So we got that kind, and then we got that kind. And then we got that kind. And we got this kind. So, lots and lots of snowflakes. And I got 3 boxes of these things. So, for probably more likely to be more than enough to do 2 trees. And it looks like this comes with some wire to wrap around them. But we're not going to use wire. We're not going to use your traditional Christmas hooks and stuff like that, which led to me another discovery on the jungle site, which comes, I'm sure the mailman was like, what the hell am I delivering Christmas packages already on a couple of days before Labor Day. So we got these little guys that I'll show off. So if I can quit moving things around here. So we got these little guys. So these are ornament anchors. So I seen these. I think these were one of them think tank type things that somebody come up with. And of course, somebody invented this because this person more than likely has either kids or fur babies that like to play with the Christmas decor and knock them off the tree and break them, because especially if you got glass ornaments, your little fur kids start getting a little rambunctious, or you got kids playing around the Christmas tree, you know that something's going to get knocked off and busted. So these little guys yeah, probably the fur kid situation. So these guys are a little choker / locker Christmas hanger. And of course, when using these little guys, it's a little bit more work to put up your ornaments, but at least you ain't got to worry about them getting knocked off, or in my case, blown off and busted. So it's a simple little piece of string with one of them drawstring locks that you push the button and stuff like that. So you would normally loop it around the ornament and then hook it around itself. So let's see if we can get one out here. So let's see, where's the hole? There's the hole. So this is one of them deals where you, at first it's a lot of work to put these on, but your second year it'll go easier because you don't have to do this step. So you shove the string through the hole, and then you take the loop and wrap it around itself. So now you got a hanging ornament. So now what you do is, of course, when you take them off, you're going to have your little locker on the bottom. You put them on your branch or your candle of your Christmas tree, and then you cinch it up. So your little fur kids can go to town. So, of course, if you got glass ornaments and stuff like that, you know that you get enough force, it's going to pop out anyway. Not from the hanger, but from the wire going inside the ornament. So this will be perfect for me. So it'll be one of them years where I go out a little bit earlier and put the tree up and decorate it, because you got a little bit more time involved, but it's worth it in the end because it's going to look absolutely gorgeous. And of course, I have no idea if the commercial balls are going to be available, because I wanted them last year when I discovered them, and they were sold out, and they came back in stock later, and then they were sold out again, and they're still sold out. You can buy them individually, but you can't buy them in bulk packs, so it's very weird. So I don't get that. Let's see, what else did I have here? Snowflakes, ties, kettle. And then I was in a market for looking for a kettle to boil water in, because you know, I like to have my every once in a while press pot coffee and tea and stuff like that. So Jay had a recent, as in the J as in JK18, he had a recent review on this little guy. And of course, these kettles come in all different sizes and shapes, and this one just happened to be perfect because it's probably about the smallest one you can get. So very compact, which is for me perfect, because space is at a premium here, so the smaller the better and stuff like that. So he's got a full review on this thing, so you can go over to his channel and check it out. But I thought it was cool because it's got all kinds of little touch buttons and lights and different temperatures and stuff like that. That's just perfect for me, you know, because you can either hook it up for tea or coffee, or just boil water for soup or stuff like that. So he didn't have a you know, a performance test on this thing, so we're going to do a performance test on this. So we're going to plug it in, and we're going to see how long it takes to boil water, because it all depends on how long it takes. So we'll get some water here out of the tap. So even though it's still relatively summer here, so I do know that the water temperature varies depending on the year, and of course, being that it's September. So ironically, the water temperature is 71 degrees. So we'll put the top on, and we're going to fire it up. And we're just going to use the dechlor just to get it to boil. So it'll set it up to boil. And then we'll put our little stopwatch on. So we'll have that running. We'll see how long it takes to get to a roaring or rolling boil. So while that's doing that, we'll go over the One other little thing that I had to acquire, of course, I already have a bigger version of this thing. So, 3 weeks ago, of course, now that I don't drive almost hardly at all because my place of employment is literally on the other side of the wall, I went blindly to go get my vehicle inspected, and it did not pass the emissions because it didn't go through a drive cycle. So that really I kind of expected that, but I would figure that it would be at least close enough to pass. So the guy told me, of course, he's a lifelong street business. He's been on the street for all of my life, so I went up there and got it all done and stuff like that. And he says, you got to go drive it. So the next week, on the next Friday that I visited the inspection station last, I went for a drive. So for me, it was literally going off the street, going east till I got to a crossover bridge, and I crossed over the bridge. So that was about 6 or 7 minute drive at 55 miles an hour, crossed over the bridge, and I came back and went through, for me, it was going through several different little towns and stuff like that. So I would say a little bit under an hour drive. I just drove around for an hour. So blah, blah, blah. Various different speeds and stops and this and that. And I came back and I went back to the same inspection station, and I says I drove around for miles, and so the guy brought out his scanner and he plugged it into the port, and guess what? It still didn't run the drive cycle, or enough room where it would pass. So in New York State, you can have one monitor not run, and you'll be able to pass inspection. Well, I had 3 that didn't run. And I'm like, well, what the hell? I drove around for almost an hour, and it should have been more than enough. So, of course, I fired up my big Autel. So my Autel is a Maxacom, and it's the MK808. So I brought up the drive monitor and stuff like that, and I could clearly see that it did not run. So I was kind of disappointed over that. So for me, it's a little inconvenient to bring that Maxicom, that big Autel, because you got to do a lot of unnecessary button touches or screen touches, like using your phone while running. So I went on the Jungle site, and of course, I got this little guy. This is an N-Cell AD410. So this is one of the deals where I got this off of Project Farm. So he had a bunch of these little guys. So I was just looking for one that had the simple IM button, where you can just push the button and it in a few seconds it gives you the readout. So stuff like that. So this is what I would carry now. So this is going to be more of a routine thing for me now. So anytime I want to get my vehicle inspected, I'm going to have to bring my little guy with me, and I'm going to have to do a drive cycle to pass the emission inspection, because the mechanical that's easy. So for me, just driving around obviously did not satisfy the onboard computer system to pass the emission standards. And of course, I had to Google search the proper way to do a drive cycle on my particular vehicle, which is the GM. So, of course, this is the procedure that I have to follow to do a complete driving cycle. So a complete driving cycle should perform diagnostics on all systems. A complete driving cycle can be done in under 15 minutes. Well, for me, not really. It took a little longer than that. To perform a ODD2 driving cycle, do the following. So this is for GM. Of course, if you have a different model, it might be a little different. Cold start. In order to be classified as cold start, engine coolant temperature must be below 50 C or 122 F within 6 degrees of ambient temperature. So there's a bunch of crap right there that you gotta, monitor. So basically, you gotta wait 24 hours, unless you really know your temperature and stuff. That can turn into a real shit show. Trying to chase that part there. And then, of course, when you're going to do this, immediately, get in, stick the key in, or put your foot on the brake and hit the start button without fooling around. Otherwise, the heated oxygen sensor diagnostic may not run. And then you're going to idle the engine for 2.5 minutes with the air conditioner and rear defroster on. The more electrical load that you can apply, the better. This test will test the O2 heater, passive air purge, no flow, misfire, and if closed loop is achieved, fuel trim. So basically, you got to sit there and basically you got to have also a stopwatch to do this. Also, these driving cycles, and then of course for me this part, some of it worked and some of it don't. And it says after you did your idle, then you're going to turn everything off. So you're going to turn off your AC, you're going to turn off your defroster or any other electrical load, and you're going to go out and try to get highway speed. So for me, I have to make at least 2 stops. So this didn't do the complete cycle for this step. Hold a steady speed of 55 miles per hour for 3 minutes. So once again, you got to have a stopwatch, or at least, you're pretty much going to have a stopwatch. So during this time, the O2 response, air intrusive, EGR purge, misfire, and fuel trim diagnostics were performed. So everything other than the O2 response did run. So for me, just going up the street, stopping, waiting for traffic, and then getting held up at a traffic light. So the O2 response did not run, so which was a little disappointing, but probably really nothing I can do about it, unless you set the vehicle and park it overnight on a shoulder of a road next to a highway. So I did that, and then you're going to deaccelerate, so you're going to have to ride the shoulder or piss a lot of people off. So for me, the shoulders are pretty wide up here, so pulled over to the shoulder, and I did the slow decline to 20 miles an hour. And then during that time, the EGR purge and fuel trim diagnostic was performed, and then you're going to gas it at 3/4 throttle back up to 55, and this will perform the same diagnostics as in step 3, except if you lally-gagged, the O2 response still did not run for me. And of course, holding a steady speed of 55 miles an hour for 5 minutes, blah blah blah. And of course, during this time, the addition to the diagnostic performed in step 4, the catalyst monitor will be performed. If the catalyst is marginal or the battery has been disconnected, it may take up to 5 driving cycles to complete that state of catalyst. And of course, the boiling here. So it took about 8 minutes, 9 minutes to come to a rolling boil here on the pot here. So that's good. And of course, we'll go back to the this little guy here and finish up. And then you're going to deaccelerate again, and that will perform diagnostics in step 5. So for me, the drive cycle took a little longer. It took about almost half an hour by the time I got done filling around. So in my area, going out on the highway, and for me, in my area, we got a little bridge here. It's called the 103 bridge that crosses the river. So it was about 1.5 miles after that. where I concluded all the steps for the drive cycle. So then I turned around and I had my little ODB, that little Ancel running, and all the monitors except for the O2 ran. So I said that's good enough. I still can have one not run and stuff like that, and of course it passed inspection. So with that, I have to take that and do that little drive cycle continuously now to make sure I pass the state inspection emission system for New York State. And we'll say hello to Peter in Insidious Nixies down in the land down under. And he says, no, Christmas already? Yeah, it's already time to start thinking about Christmas. Because for me, it's only a couple of weeks away to start put up lights and stuff like that. So we did our little press pot here. I shouldn't say press pot, our little kettle here. So for me, this would be very handy for the coming cooler months. So here it is on the jungle site. So Jay had it on his review for I think Thursday or Friday or something like that. Yeah, Friday or Thursday, something like that. I don't remember. Friday review. Come the next day when I ordered it. So there's your little bottle warmer Confire tea kettle. So tea kettles are pretty cool if you have the purpose of one. So I do have a purpose of one, and there's many times that I've always wanted one of these things, and since I moved the microwave out of here, I don't have the you got to go out there to go microwave water. And yes, there is a difference between microwave water and boiled water off of a stove, or at least an electric kettle like this. So now that I got one, this will come in handy. I'll have to find a spot for it. So, because the cord is pretty short on these little guys. So here's, I would say the cord is only a couple of feet, maybe less than 3 feet. That's for sure. So you got to have a outlet close by if you don't run a extension cord. So this thing is only about 32 inches long. So it's only, and of course you got to have a little bit of an angle depending on where you are. So lots of neat little features on this little bugger. So you can, this thing is intended for warming up baby formulas and stuff like that, but we got a couple other different little settings. Heat, so the heat will bring you, formula will bring you to about 104, so that's a little bit above body temperature for your little one. And then we got heat, which is 122 F, so 50 C. And if you want to cook, boil food, 140 F or 60 C. And WHO, I don't know exactly what that is, but it's 158 Fahrenheit and 70 C. Of course, if you want to brew tea, 176. Brewing tea, depending on what kind of tea you're making, you can adjust the temperature with that plus button. So if you know you need about 180 degree to brew the tea, certain tea. And then coffee, so the coffee is about 194 F, 90 C. Of course, the coffee brewing temperature depends on what kind of a junkie you are, but stuff like that. So nice little addition to have and stuff like that. So how long I've been rolling on here? About an hour and 12. So I like to keep it about an hour because I only got one viewer. So good old Pete. Pete is reliable viewership. And of course, there's a couple other little views. They watched for average duration of 6 minutes and 38 seconds. So good for them people watching the mayhem here. We got the like I said or I had earlier in the stream, I got that Olympia phone working now, and it turned into a repair. So I know definitely why it went into the for sale sign. So probably somebody got pissed off and slammed the phone down and managed to dislodge that little pogo pin, which results in that, I guess, that second wire on there, because there's 2 wires on that contact, so that thing wasn't making any contact. So the little brain didn't know whether the phone is on the cradle or off the cradle or on the landline or off the landline, so it didn't know what to do. So it crapped out. So don't know how many hours are on that. I wouldn't assume there's many hours on it, because the LEDs are nice and bright, stuff like that. And we went over Christmas stuff, went over my new tea kettle, and had a little story about doing drive cycles if you don't drive. So if you don't drive a lot and you just go to your inspection station, because I would imagine, I think what happens is if your truck or vehicle sits longer than 48 hours or 36 hours, everything resets to 0. So the computer has to do all the diagnostics over and over again. So I know when I put the scanner in for the first time, that little ant cell, I actually went out less than 24 hours later and flipped the key on to see if things reset, and actually things don't reset. And I actually started the vehicle back up, and everything was still good, except for them couple of monitors that didn't run. So I would imagine that the internal memory holds for at least 24 hours, or a little bit longer than that. But longer than 48 hours, yeah, everything resets back to 0 on my particular vehicle. So you got to do the whole drive cycle again. So I'll have to keep that in mind all the time to do a drive cycle before I wander into the inspection station to get inspections. So a little bit more work, but when you're not a daily driver, that's just one of the things you have to deal with. Unless you got a full electric car, then you ain't got to worry about emissions other than mechanical. So that's about it for this particular live stream. Thanks for watching. Happy Labor Day. Of course, for some people it is Labor Day. For me, it's the eve of. So we'll see you on the next stream. I don't know what we'll be doing. Maybe we'll start getting on some of these kits that Pete sent me, or something else. So with that, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Ta-ta-ta!